Your mama ugly. They only responding because you know hit dogs holler. T.I. Son exposed the thing that's beauty, but I think deep down inside he know what it is. Put it in the comment section. He know what it is. I mean, this Biggie talked about it back in the 90s. Just bang yourself. Do it. 50 Cent is back taking shots at T.I. And this time the heat is tied to King Harris after talk started flying that he asked his dad for $100,000 and treated him like a bank. The whole thing turned into viral bait, and the internet wasted no time dragging T.I.'s family money talk back into the spotlight. Now the tension is climbing again. The social media message is getting louder, and with whispers about a possible 50 Cent documentary picking up steam. This music looks like another drama run warming up. Like a lot of messy stories in 2026, this one popped off because of a viral clip. King Harris, the 21-year-old son of T.I., and Tamika Tiny Harris, was seen online explaining how he goes to his father when he needs money. Not small cash, not lunch, music, money, but $100,000. That clip spread fast, and people instantly ran with one angle. T.I.'s son was asking for six figures like it was regular business. King's point was that he goes to his father for investments and does not need a bank when he can. Music goes straight to T.I. To be fair, rich parents helping fund business moves is not shocking by itself. But the internet never sticks music to the calm version of the story. The internet runs off clips, captions, and stripped down context, and the second music, that clip hit timelines, people locked in on one story fast. Suddenly, it was King Harris draining T.I. dry, and the narrative took off like wildfire. Then here comes 50 Cent stepping right into the chaos like he always does. Curtis Jackson built a whole second, maybe even third career out of trolling people, music, right when they look most exposed. He did it to Ja Rule for years, and even went at Christian Combs earlier this year. So when the King Harris $100,000 clip blew up, 50 didn't hesitate. He jumped in, started cracking jokes about T.I.'s money situation, and pushed the idea that King was out here running his dad's pockets dry. He basically flipped it into a storyline where T.I., once calling himself the King of the South, was now dealing with pressure from inside his own house. And this wasn't random at all. 50 Cent and T.I. have been going back and forth for months, and it already went way past music. We're talking diss tracks, family getting mentioned, and some real personal shots being thrown out in public. That $100,000 moment just added fuel to a fire that was already burning crazy. Music, but to really see why 50 jumped on this so fast, you gotta look deeper into their history, especially how T.I.'s finances have been a week. Spot way before his son ever asked for anything. The 2026 clash between 50 Cent and T.I. didn't just pop out of nowhere. These are two heavyweights who came up in that mid-2000s golden era, moving from different sides of the game, but always circling music, each other with that quiet tension real rap legends carry. For years, it stayed under control, more like respect with a hidden edge. Both had bigger issues to handle at the time. T.I. was dealing with legal problems, time away, and building a whole media lane with Tiny, while 50 was taking over TV music with the power wave and stacking business moves while still being hip-hop's most fearless troll. They never really needed each other as enemies, but 2026 flipped the switch completely. One comment, one slick line, maybe an interview moment that didn't land right, and suddenly everything cracked wide. Music open. After decades of building strong names in the rap game, both 50 and Tip ended up locked into a full-blown public feud that nobody expected to kick off the year like this. And once it started, it didn't even matter who said what first anymore. The drama had already taken over and was moving fast. Because once this thing escalated, it moved fast, and T.I. wasted no time jumping straight into the studio. While most rap beefs today stay online with posts, memes, and comments, music T.I. went full old school mode. He started recording diss tracks and dropping them back to back like he had something serious to prove. He wasn't just throwing light music shots either. He came swinging heavy, calling 50 Cent a 5-0 dispatcher, basically labeling him a snitch, and clowning him as someone who talks crazy online but wouldn't say it face-to-face. But 50 doesn't battle like that anymore. He's not trying to win with songs. He wins with moments, with content, with perfectly timed posts that hit millions at once. His weapon is memes, captions, and turning people into jokes in front of the whole internet. That contrast, T.I. dropping bars while 50 drops viral posts, defined the early rounds of this feud, and honestly, that trolling strategy made things way more dangerous. Because 50 wasn't just aiming at T.I., he started aiming at everything around him. And that's when it got real messy. The second 50 shifted his focus towards Tamika Harris, everything changed instantly. Music, this stopped being just two rappers going back and forth. It turned into something way more emotional, way more personal, and way harder to control once family got pulled into the middle of it. Things crossed a serious line when 50 Cent posted a controversial image of Tamika Harris performing and added a caption warning T.I. to keep his name out of his mouth. In rap beef culture, bringing someone's wife into it is music, basically saying there are no rules left, no respect, no limits, just music straight escalation. That post hit instantly, and King Harris didn't stay quiet for a second. He jumped right into the feud on February 22nd after seeing that post, and things turned up fast. King went straight into the comments asking where 50's mom was, referencing his late mother Sabrina Jackson, who passed when 50 was just a kid. Music, from that point, everything started spiraling out of control. King kept pushing, telling the candy shop rapper to post his mom and to leave Tiny out of the situation. Then he took it even further, sharing what looked like a graveside image on his story. At that moment, the energy shifted completely. This wasn't just rap talk anymore. This was personal on a whole different level, and emotions were clearly running high. But 50 didn't back off at all. He came right back online, throwing even more shots at T.I. and his circle, while at the same time promoting his Broadway moves. The back and forth kept getting louder, messier, and way more intense, turning this whole situation, music, into something nobody could ignore. 50 even mixed his trolling into business, captioning a post about the 2026 revival of August. Music, Wilson's Joe Turner's Come and Gone, while sneaking in shots at T.I.'s kids. That's a signature move, clown you and promote at the same time. Like it's nothing. It wasn't just random jokes, either. It was calculated, blending disrespect with marketing so it hits even harder online. But King Harris wasn't about to just sit in comments all day. The 21-year-old stepped into the booth and started dropping diss tracks aimed straight at 50 Cent. Not one, not two, but multiple records going at the G-Unit boss. The lyrics, music got personal fast, bringing up the 2000 shooting, his relationship with his son Marquise Jackson, and even taking shots at his past relationships. One of those tracks even caught viral attention, adding more fuel to the chaos. Meanwhile, T.I. watched his son jump into the fire and showed support. Music standing behind him through all. Tamika Harris also brushed off 50's jab during an interview and gave music props to her sons, King and Domani, for stepping up and defending her. The whole family locked in together, making it clear they weren't backing down or letting themselves get played. But here's the catch. This is exactly what 50 wants. Every reply, every emotional reaction, every new voice jumping in, just give him more content to flip into another viral moment. That's the trap when going at 50 Cent. Everything you say can turn into ammo. Every move can become a meme, and every person involved becomes a new target in the spotlight. After already going at Christian Combs earlier in 2026, 50 Cent had this whole playbook ready. He knew exactly how to deal with a young guy stepping up to defend his family name. And when King Harris jumped in, 50 Music didn't miss a beat. That's why the jokes about King bankrupting T.I. hit so hard, because there's already a real history behind the money talk. See, T.I.'s financial story hasn't been a smooth ride like people might music think from the outside. The money came in heavy, but it also went out just as fast, and records show music, it hasn't always been clean. T.I. built himself up as a rapper, actor, entrepreneur, and more music with a reported net worth around $30 million. That number, tied together with Tamika Harris, even includes a massive $71 million court win back in 2024. On the surface, that sounds solid, like everything is locked in. But once you look deeper, things get way more complicated. Back in 2015, T.I. reportedly owed the IRS about $5 million from earlier years, and federal liens were filed. They had to move fast to deal with it, and even after that big court win, only a portion of that debt was handled. Music, and it didn't stop there either. More tax issues showed up later, with additional amounts owed across 2021 and 2022, stacking the pressure even higher. That's why when 50 starts joking about money, it's not just random trolling. It hits a real nerve because behind the image, behind the success, there's a financial history that makes those jokes land way heavier than they normally would. Then came another twist, a fresh tax lien hitting in June 2024, right before that huge courtroom win. The timing felt almost unreal. One moment, it's heavy financial pressure. The next moment, it's a massive legal victory, changing the narrative overnight. T.I. and Tamika Harris scored a $71 million win against MGA Entertainment, claiming their OMG dolls copied the image of the OMG Girls group. The whole case focused on how MGA's Lala dolls allegedly mirrored the look and style of the OMG Girls, a group connected to their family and managed by them. That $71 million payout included both real damages and penalties, making it look like a huge win on paper. But here's where it gets tricky. Winning a lawsuit and actually getting all that money are two completely different situations. Appeals can drag things out, settlements can shrink the final amount, and legal fees always take a big slice. So even with that headline number, there were long stretches where T.I.'s situation wasn't as solid as it looked. He could appear wealthy publicly, but still be dealing with serious financial pressure behind the scenes. And it didn't just stay about money either. The stress reached into their personal life, with Tiny filing for divorce back in 2016, pointing to issues at home. They later worked things out, but the pressure was real and documented, showing just how deep those struggles actually went. 50 Cent knows this history, and honestly, anybody locked into hip-hop already knows it too. So when King Harris jumped on camera talking about pulling $100,000 from his dad for investments, instead of hitting a bank, it wasn't just a random clip. It instantly became a target. The internet ran with one idea fast. A man who's been dealing with tax issues for years is now acting like a personal bank for his 21-year-old music son. Whether that's fully fair or not didn't even matter at that point, because online perception becomes reality. Music, and that perception hit hard. King has never really been low-key, either. Born Clifford Joseph Harris III, named directly after T.I., he's been in the spotlight since he was a kid. Growing up in front of cameras on T.I. and Tiny, The Family Hustle, he was already known to the public early on. That show turned the Harris family into a known name, and King stood out as one of the most energetic and unpredictable personalities on screen. As he got older, he leaned even more into social media, sometimes a little too heavy. He would go live at moments that raised eyebrows, get into situations that spread fast online, and build this image that mixed music street energy with celebrity upbringing. That combination made him stand out, but also put him right in the middle music of attention every time something controversial popped off. Too known to move in silence, but still young enough to not fully grasp how every music post hits. That's the position King Harris is in right now. The viral moments that keep his name trending aren't always planned. Music, they come from real-life situations catching fire online. And in a recent interview on The Morning Hustle, King tried to clear everything up and reset. Music, the narrative around his image, his family, and especially that $100,000 situation. He shut down the idea that he just walked up to T.I. asking for money like it was nothing. Instead, he explained that his approach, music, is way more business-minded. According to King, he brings actual investment ideas to his music. Father, real plans, real numbers, real potential. Then T.I. looks at it like an investor, not just a parent handing out cash. And that detail changes everything. King made it clear, I only go to him for investments. Music, I don't have to go to the bank, I go to him. That's the full statement. But the viral clip cut all that context out and left people with a completely different picture. Instead of a young guy trying to build something, it made him look like a spoiled celebrity kid just asking for money. But the full story hits different. King also talked about music, growing up with balance, going to public school, and even staying with his grandmother while his parents' music worked. He said that gave him a grounded mindset early on, understanding that money isn't music just given, it's something you have to earn and build over time. Still staying tapped into the culture, King Harris is now pushing forward with his own moves, including his new project, OG Wine. He's not just sitting back, he's actively trying to build his own lane through music, business, music, ventures, and growing his own online presence. By 2024, his work across music, TV, and business reportedly brought his net worth to around $2 million. That's solid for a 21-year-old, no question. Music, but at the same time, it also changes how people look at that $100,000 conversation, depending on the angle you take. Here's the part people don't like to music admit. Wealthy families fund their kids' ideas all the time. It happens every day in tech, finance, and entertainment. Parents invest in startups, movies, and business plays without anyone saying a word. But the second a rapper's son does it on camera, music, it turns into jokes, headlines, and viral content. And when your dad's biggest troll is 50 Cent, it instantly, music becomes ammunition. King even explained that reality TV only showed a polished version of his life, while social media shows who he really is when the cameras are off. That gap between what people think and what's actually real is exactly where 50 stepped in and flipped the narrative. And now it brings everything back to one big question. Is King really draining T.I., or is he music just making moves and trying to build something bigger for himself? Let's break it down for real. T.I. reportedly sits around a $30 million net worth with Tamika Harris. And that even includes the massive $71 million judgment from the MGA lawsuit. Even after legal fees, possible appeal cuts, and music, those long-running tax issues, we're still talking about serious money on the table. So when you look at a $100,000 investment, that's nowhere near bankrupting anything. Music, do the math, that's about 3% of his reported net worth. That's less than what they dropped on their Atlanta mansion back in 2020, a $3. 27 million property with around 14,000 square feet. So the idea that King Harris is draining everything just doesn't hold up when you actually look at the numbers. What this really comes down to is 50 Cent doing what he always does best, taking a real situation and stretching it into something way bigger to embarrass his target. The facts are there. T.I. has dealt with financial pressure before, tax debts, IRS issues, and even personal strain tied to money. None of that is fake. But turning that into his son is bankrupting him is a whole different league. And that's exactly the kind of narrative that blows up online, but falls apart when you look closer. And then things got even crazier when 50 started hinting at a Diddy-style documentary in March 2026, pushing the tension even higher. While T.I. fired back and the shots kept flying across music and social media. The track, No One Told Us What We're Here For, featuring Leon Thomas, just added more fire to everything. This whole situation kept bouncing from Instagram to the studio and right back again with both sides, throwing heavier shots, music each round. And that $100,000 moment, that was just one piece in a much bigger war going on. Music, here's what 50 Cent understood that a lot of people missed. This was never really about the $100,000. It was about shaping a narrative, turning T.I., the king of the South, into someone the public sees as slipping, a father losing control while his own kids lean on him financially. Whether that's true or not doesn't even matter once that image sticks, because people love watching a rise, but they love a downfall even more. But here's the reality that gets ignored. The empire isn't falling apart like that narrative suggests. T.I. has been expanding beyond music, getting into tech, real estate, and putting money back into Atlanta, especially in Bankhead, where he came from. He's even worked alongside Killer Mike and other developers using both money and effort to build up his community. And on the other side, King Harris is also trying to build something for himself. Whether it's music, business, or just figuring things out while the whole world is watching, he's moving forward in his own way. But with all this noise, the feud between 50 and T.I. has clearly hit a whole new level with non-stop criticism, viral moments, and diss keeping the pressure high. What started as old tension between two rap giants turned into something way more personal, pulling in family, social media shots, and disses from T, his sons, and non-stop jabs from 50 Cent online. This wasn't just a regular back and forth. It became one of the most stretched out and personal hip-hop beefs we've seen in a minute. But at the core of it all, that claim about King Harris bankrupting T.I. looks more like 50's trolling at its finest than actual facts. This wasn't about reporting or breaking truth. It was entertainment wrapped up as commentary, pushed by someone who knows exactly how to get reactions out of people. That's the real game 50 plays. Make you react, make you pick a side, make you feel something no matter what. Love me or hate me, it's cool. Just care enough to feel some type of way. That mindset right there explains everything. Because once people are talking, reacting, and arguing, he already got what he wanted even if the full story wasn't exactly what it seemed. Make sure you subscribe to Dripzine. Drop your thoughts below, like this video, and help the channel grow by hitting that hype button